Okay, now moving to the next paragraph. In his senior year, he went a step further. He grew cells from a monarch's wing in a culture and showed that the cells move, divide, and develop into normal butterfly wing skills only if they were fed the hormone from the gold spots. So, now what was the purpose of those gold spots on the pupa? It is clear over here. So they produce the hormone which perform the function of creating another bird that project won first place for geology at the international fair. He spent the summer after graduation doing further work at the army. After doing his graduation, he didn't stop his projects, his working, his excitement, but he kept on working at the Army laboratory and at a laboratory of the US Department of Agriculture. The following summer, the next year, after his freshman year at Howard University, he was just a fresher there. Bright went back to the laboratory of the Department of Agriculture and did more work on hormone from the gold spots using the laboratory's sophisticated, the most latest instruments. The best instrument, he was able to identify the hormone's chemical structure. What is the chemical structure of that hormone, how it works in developing a new life. He started working on that. A year and a half later, approximately 16 months passed, 1.5 year passed. During his junior year, Bright got the idea of his new theory about the cell life. It came while he was working at X-ray photos of the chemical structure of the hormone. When he had taken the X-ray, the picture of that chemical structure, he was working on the picture of that chemical structure, trying to study the cell hormones. At that moment, he came to know the reality. When he saw those photos, Bright did not shout, Eureka, no, or even I have got it. He was not excited, but he believed that along with his findings about insect hormones, the photos gave him the answer to one of the biology's puzzle, how the cell can read the blueprint of its DNA. What is the blueprint? Is the detailed structure of the DNA. DNA is a substance in the nucleus of a cell that controls heredity. So we used to know, we have heard the word DNA in our life also, that matches the DNA father, mother and children. It determines the form of the function of the cell. Thus DNA is the blueprint of the life. This is the only way you can determine the hereditary of human being. Bright and his college roommate James R. Wong worked all that night drawing pictures and constructing plastic models of molecules. They were trying to understand all these things in a elaborated manner, so they tried with the plastic models to show how it could happen. Together, they later wrote the paper that explained that theory. They made the papers, they submitted their theory, and that was the research. Surprising, no one who knew him, Richard Bright graduated from Howard with the highest honor, second in his class of 1510. He stood second. There were 1510 students in the class in the university at that time, and he stood second. Bright went on to become a graduate student researcher at Howard Medical School. There he began doing experiments to test his theory. If the theory proves correct, the theory of DNA is proved correct, it will be a big step towards understanding the processes of life, how the life come into the existence. It might also lead to new ideas for preventing some types of cancer and other diseases. It may be helpful in the treatment of some diseases, dangerous diseases like cancer and all that. All of this is possible because of a Bright's scientific curiosity. His high school research into the purpose of spots on a monarch pupa eventually led him to his theory about cell life. The curiosity to get that idea, what was that golden spots on pupa, that has led him to make some new discovery about the cell life. Richard Bright had been interested in science since he first began collecting butterflies. That means it was very much in him from his childhood only. When he started collecting the butterflies at the age of, you can say, 5 or 6 years, he was in second grade, 6 or 7 years. He started collecting the butterfly and very soon was able to collect all the 25 species which were present there in his hometown. A boy of 6 or 7 years having so much scientific curiosity, but not so deeply that he hasn't time for other interests. Bright also became a champion debater. Not only that he was intellectual, he was having scientific temperament, he was a good debater. He was able to discuss his ideas. Public speaker, he was a good orator, was able to attract the audience and good canoeist. He used to go for canoeing and all round outside outdoor persons. He is also an expert photographer. He have a, you can say, interest of photography, and he was perfect. He goes to get the good pics, particularly of nature and scientific exhibits. Wherever the scientific exhibitions are there, he used to capture very good photographs